Before we start this episode on how to keep our marriage strong in the midst of lockdown, let me ask you this question. How is your marriage holding up? How is your marriage being affected by the lockdown? Now, Wuhan, China has been the first epicenter of the coronavirus as it started there. It was also the first major city that has been put in lockdown. It was also the first major city who reported a significant number of divorces during the lockdown. Now, this problem is not only seen in Wuhan, but also in every cities or countries where there's a lockdown. There are obviously a lot of reasons behind why marriages are crumbling in the middle of the lockdown, like the marriage has already been in a rocky relationship even before the stay-at-home order. Or husbands and wives are not used to being home together for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Or wives bossing around their husbands and husbands abusing their wives. Now, before I proceed, do you know that there has been a significant increase in domestic violence in the last few weeks because both the abuser and the victims are forced to live together in one roof because of the stay-at-home order? If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, call 911 right away. Or contact your local police station. Now, let's go back to the topic. There's another major reason why many marriages are struggling, and this is what I am going to talk about in this episode. And I contribute this to how most men and most women handle crisis differently. Now, women in general express their fears and anxiety by talking about it and by venting it out. Note that they just don't talk and vent about the things that upset them once, but they talk about it a lot. And when I say a lot, it is a lot. And you know what I'm talking about. And why? Because this is how they de-stress themselves. It is therapeutic to them. That's why they can talk for hours and hours with their girlfriends. And they even do a group hug in the ladies' room. No, they do this not to be fixed. They just want to vent. They just want their feelings and fears to be heard and validated. They just want to hear that they're not alone in this. And because we are in a lockdown situation and our wives can't meet up with their girlfriends at the coffee house to share their fears, guess who they talk it out to vent out? To their husbands, to us. What is frustrating to many wives is that their husbands are not good listeners, or they don't listen at all. Those who did try did not even try hard enough to be sympathetic, much more empathetic. Not only that most husbands are not good listeners, they also don't know how to validate their wives' fears and feelings. They think that every time their wives would vent their fears and frustrations, that he is responsible to fix her problem. So, the good husband would try to fix the wife's problem by cutting her off and giving her unsolicited advice. Now, it is true that the wife needs her husband's help, but cutting her off and giving unsolicited advice is not what she desperately needs. She wants her husband to listen to her with empathy by trying to validate what she is feeling inside without judging her, and to assure her that you are in this together and everything will be okay. On the other hand, men in general find solitude in the midst of chaos by just being quiet, by just going to their man cave. It's not that husbands are trying to deny or dismiss the problem, but they just want to distract themselves from the chaos and give themselves the time to think and figure out plans on how to fix the problem. Because men are born problem solvers. We are fixers. We sometimes even break things just to fix them. Unfortunately, the husband's silence in the midst of chaos is deafening to the wives, because they don't understand why their husbands need to keep their fears to themselves when they should express it verbally just like how wives do it. Guess what? Instead of giving their husbands the time and space that they needed to think and figure things out, the wives would come and bug and nag them, trying to fish out some information about what is bothering them. She won't stop until she gets something, or until she gets the assurance that she is not the problem. Now, this can be very, very irritating to the husbands. When the wife would keep on festering, nagging, and following their husbands when they are in their man cave. Now, here is my 2 cents for the husbands. Your wife is like the damsel in distress. She needs somebody to help her in this situation. She needs the knight in the shining armor. And you are that knight in the shining armor. However, the kind of help that she needs is not for you to kill the dragon, but to listen to her fears, to validate her feelings, and to assure her that everything will be okay because you will be on her side all the way through. All right? Now, to the wives, here's my 2 cents for you. Your husband doesn't deal with chaos and problems the way you do. No, we don't talk it out to our friends and do group hugs in the men's restroom. It's very awkward. We deal with chaos by ourselves, first in our man cave. When we are quiet, please don't bother us because we are already bothered enough by the problem. When you do, you are just agitating us. When we figure out the solution to the problem, we will tell you and be more open to you. Just respect our space to think and to process things through. All right? Now, let me end with what the Apostle James said in James chapter 1, verse 19. He said, everyone should be quick to listen. And I would address this directly to the husbands. Husbands, be quick to listen to your wives. Attentive listening, focused listening, and listen sympathetically and empathetically. So James said everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak. Now, this is for the wives. Wives, stop nagging your husbands, especially when your husband is already under stress. So it says everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. This is for both husbands and wives. Everybody is going through some types of stress, fear, and anxiety at this very moment. But remember that not everybody copes or faces it the same way you do. So take a deep breath and tell yourself, I need to understand my husband. I need to understand my wife. My spouse is also going through the same fear and anxiety like me. As the husband, I need to learn to listen and validate my wife's fears and feelings and not to dismiss it. To the wives, you need to learn to give space to your husbands. God bless your marriage. Keep strong, be strong. Keep your eyes laser focused onto the Lord who gives us the strength to overcome this. Keep your marriage strong. God bless you all. Amen.